Alright, so there's been an update, and to be honest, I was just way too lazy to actually make a video about this because I was just constantly making daily uploading, and I was just really lazy, and I was like, fuck this. But either way, let's get this over with. The only thing I'm going to cover is possibly the RPG and Candy Cane. Everything else, well, especially the glitch thing, because apparently in the patch notes it says, fixed Molotov damage, healing a survivor in combination with chili pepper and sugar armor. And the funny thing was that Toa actually made a video of the video I did, and he was just like, what the fuck? It was pretty funny, not gonna lie. I can just imagine his like look of him like, what the shit? And then he goes over to the beta server, puts in some codes, and he's like, there you go. But either way, it was pretty funny, really. But it's of course now patched out. But now what I'm gonna be going over is of course the Rpg-7, basically in this entire update video. So the RPG, back then the RPG was immensely overpoweredly strong. Why? It's mostly because of the amount of damage and how much shots you were to get every single refill. To be fair, you would get 3 shots on the side and 1 in the mag, the current mag, when you were to load in. But when you were to get a refill, you would have 2 shots on the side and 1 shot currently holding. So it would start off with 4 bullets and it would decrease to 3 bullets every single time you would refill. And to be honest, the reason it was so powerful was because you could just shoot it instantly, unequip it, and just go over to like your primary or whatever else while it reloads. And once you need it again, you could just take it out and shoot it again, even though you basically reloaded it and you were just using all your other guns. It was OP back then. And then they made an update to where basically, of course, the remodel, and now that you actually have to reload it, which I'm pretty sure is for all the guns, where you have to actually reload the guns while having them equipped, which is good because it would be super overpowered if it was not. But either way, they made a basic, I guess, choice to make the RPG an primary weapon. And I remember when I first saw this, I was like, what? Why would you do that? Now everyone in the secondary is like, oh wait, I can't use RPG anymore. Alright, Python now, or laser pistol now. That was back then, okay? Where you had 2 options now. And the RPG was broken. It literally one-shotted every single infected, especially the Banshee, who wasn't overpowered as, as she is today. Instead, she was, that shoot her and she would kind of do damage, but not really, and it was just devastatingly powerful. But then it just got basically put back to being a secondary, which was good because like who asked for it to be a primary? And then they put it back as a primary again. But this time they went a little bit ballistic. What they did was they made it so it did 700 damage and the radius of it wasn't 32 whatever it is, I'm pretty sure meters or whatever, to 45 inches or whatever. And if that wasn't already broken enough, the amount of ammo you would get per mag was now 7 bullets. 7 bullets on the side and I believe 1 in the mag. Meaning you would literally just have to refill two times in order to actually beat every single mode. Because this gun would one-shot everything. If every single zombie was like grouped together, it would just one-shot. You don't even need anymore. Just one shot to kill the shaman, to kill the chiller, to kill the riot. Plus the radius of the explosion was just incredibly huge. And plus, they updated the reload animation, so they basically made it easier and faster to reload it. So that means you could just spam it over and over and over. And if multiple people have RPGs, it will just be a pain. And I made a video about how literally you're making people not even want to play on the zombie team. They're just going to be standing there probably playing Clash of Clans on their phones until eventually the game ends. They're like, oh, finally, now I can play. And then they're either doing the same thing as the humans were doing, or they're just using the what's called other weapons and not using the RPG. But either way, the RPG back then and the first update and then the second update were just incredibly painful because of the amount of buffs they gave it. I don't know what they were thinking about putting it as a primary, but the only recommendation I would give is number 1, if you're going to put it back as a primary weapon for whatever reason, make sure you at least put the damage to 400 and something, probably like 430 or something like that. Not too much. Maybe increase the blast radius, but if you're going to increase the ammunition capacity from 1 to 2, what's it called, one bullet in the mag currently, and then two on the side, you can at least make it like one or two more bullets on the side, so it'd be 1/4 and not like 1/8, which was basically the update that came out like literally a few days ago of it being a primary again. But either way, if you're gonna do that, make sure just to do what I recommended at least. But if you're not going to, and you're just gonna leave it as a secondary, good job. But either way, I don't know what they were thinking for putting it as a primary again, but the only thing I would say is just keep it as a secondary as it should be, because there are a lot of reasons why this gun would be great. If there's an entire horde chasing you with like a juggernaut with, for an example, a chiller or a shaman or a hunter or something like that though, in a riot, you can pull it out and just shoot it, and instantly either all the zombies infected will either die from that or just be extremely low, and then you could finish them off, and then you could take the time to reload it. And especially, it's actually really good against the cross map shot. If there's like a survivor who is captured by a hunter or tangler or chillard, and you need to help them, but of course, like they're hiding behind like they're behind like a wall or something like that, you can just take it out, shoot it, and they will free them. That's where immensely just gets really strong, because it basically is just a lifesaver for other people. But also the fact that you can use it to kill wall tanglers, which are basically the tanglers who like jump and tangle you, and they're hiding behind some sort of structure to protect them. So you either have to shoot an RPG and get them over with, or you have to take the longest way to get to them and then free your current protected friend, who is basically dead at that point. But either way, the RPG is always good as a secondary, and if they ever do put it in the primary for whatever reason, just please learn your lesson twice. You already failed it twice.